Oh man, we don't have our second camera on. Let's turn that on real quick. Let's turn that on. See if we got some audio here. There we go. That should do it. Let's see if we got it now. Cool. There it is. Yes, indeed. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a little photo. This is like Inception. And then I'm going to post it on Instagram. Tell everybody to come over here. Hang out with us. Look at this. I'm going to take a picture of you. Picture in a picture. Smile. Everybody smile. Let's send that over to the Instagrams and let those folks know what we're doing today. Talking about some intervallic action. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's say live on YouTube right now. That's what we're going to do. We connect a... let's just do this. We're going to talk about intervals today. It's going to be good. I'm going to tell everybody to come over and hang out with us. Intervallic stuff. Live on YouTube right now. All right, cool. Making the post of things. Boom. All right. Letting folks know what we're doing. And here we are back in the scene. Let's play some tunes. Man, I tracked the guitars, the basic guitars for that one right there that I posted to Instagram. It came out really nice. Let me know if the guitar level is good for you guys. And then here's some really cool chords for that back section. I love this. That same one again. Camera 2 should be on now, right? But it came out so nice. love that sound too. Yeah, man, it's gonna be nice, right? A little more gain on it. Not very clean today. Yeah. All right. Welcome one, welcome all. We're all loaded up and set in the pocket here. Vidami live stream on Tuesdays. Weather's got the hair frizzy. Give it a little tuck here, a little tuck and roll. So a lot of questions already rolling around over in the chat. Good to see everyone. And chicken picking. Yeah, man. Maybe we do some chicken picking at some point. Right? Almost have to turn off that delay to kind of do that thing, though. Right? Cool stuff there. Some clucking action, right? So, I wanted to talk about intervals today. What I want to do is two things. We're going to talk about the intervals. We're going to talk about how the old Vidami Super Duper Looper, I'm going to start calling it that. Maybe they need to rename it. Super Duper Looper. Can we get that? Can we get that trademarked? This is the Vidami Blue. It can do all kinds of cool things. And I've said the best thing is that your hands aren't on it, but the best thing is it's easy to set up. Really love the fact that you plug it in, or in this case, you don't plug it in. You just sync it to your Bluetooth machine, whether that be your iPad, cell phone, laptop, desktop, whatever. And it will just drop right in, bring up your YouTube video of some guy shredding at such a magnificent level that you need a little assistance. This is like your R2-D2 droid that rides behind you in the X-Wing, right? So you can grab a section of music on YouTube by just looping it. Then when it's looping around, you can pause it. You can go backwards and forwards in the video to like catch something or skip over some random gibberish that they're talking about and get to the hot licks. You control the speed, and my favorite thing that they've done with the controls is you just hold the pause button and it just gets it back to normal video. So there's not a lot. I use a trackpad in my right hand. There's not a lot of times where I'm looking for a video and I actually go to the right point in the video with the trackpad. So the Vidami Blue, amazing situation. You find that hot lick that you just want to get. You can loop it and slow it down, really study it, pause it, work on it, resume it, bring it up to speed, all that kind of good stuff. That's going to help you this week when we're talking about these intervals. Basic intervals. Jay says the intervals are the topic of the day over in the Discord channel. Love to see that. We got a private Discord channel for our Patreon members. Appreciate all of the Patreon support that keeps the things rolling around. Yeah, man, tone is good today. I'm going to kick the volume up a little bit for me, just on the monitoring side, because I want to hear that sweet goodness. Yeah, I want to hear that. I want to go to there. Tone is good. I spent a lot of time the other day just working on tone. Had time to get the cabs roaring in the room and all that good stuff. So intervals, I had a fantastic lesson today with a student, and he was wondering how to make intervals easier to access and basically unlock the fretboard. So many of us play from a cage system, a box shape. You guys out there playing through all those sweet boxes, right? You can use intervals to do two things. One, make traveling up and down the fretboard easier. Two, play in keys that you don't like, right? So once you know where the root is, then you can just play in like E flat, for instance. I know a lot of guitarists don't like to play there. But when I'm just like blasting through some noodles like that right there, it's like I'm not really even thinking about E flat. I'm just thinking about like where my root is there, 4, so sus 4, 5, and flat 6. So if you want a cool, colorful kind of thing. Right? Cool. So what we're going to do is going to take a basic scale. I'm going to let chat choose the scale. What scale are we going to play in today, chat? I'm going to hang out till I see it over here going on. We're going to do the right. Got to choose a key for me to play in. Right. That's it. So what key are we going to play in today? I got that delay set kind of nice. It's like doing this is all done within the aux. I'm using the aux's internal delay to emulate that kind of Tim and Z halo thing that he's been talking about all week. I'm excited about that halo pedal. Now I use Strymons. I've got the UA pedals. I've got the aux thing. Basically, a dual delay is going to get you there if you can dial in that modulation and that degradation. But you really got to have that like 375 into 5 or 500 375 thing, or that like dotted eighth and a quarter, like feeding each other, right? That's the thing. B flat. B flat is the key for intervals today. Okay. I'm going to turn the delay off and just put a little room on. Yeah. So, when we're in the key of B flat and we're trying to understand our interval, let's just play the major scale first, and I want to recognize my roots as I go through it. So, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I'm going to play it without me talking. And we're also going to have this. So what's important is we got to remember that we're not looking at our fingers. You want to look at the fretboard. You want to think about the fretboard and not your fingers. So the root can be all of these. It's not about being like, oh, the home base is in my pinky, right? It's any finger can, your nose can push it down, right? If you're creative enough. But you need to look at where those roots are. So let's have 3 roots. There's a big stretch, right? So we got root in my first finger on the E string, root in my middle finger on the D string, and then root on the B string. So as I travel up it, I'm going to give every note in the major scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. I'm going to play here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Now, we're going to just look at a couple of intervals, be real simple. We're going to take 1, 5, and 3. That was like the old NBC thing, right? You guys remember that? I think that was it. Something like that. It was like the peacock. So now take that in other shapes as we just grab chords. Instead of thinking of a chord as a thing that you're going to do the same way every time with your fingers, you can play it like that's a different set. That's just 2 5s and a 1. So here's 2 5s and 1, right? That's $11. It's 2 5s and 1. Okay, now we're going to have what? Let's do a 5. Let's do 2 1s and a 5. There's 5 right there. How do I know? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And again, it's not about just defaulting to this position. It should be here, right? You could have it. You can have it up here. Where else could it be? Right here. Right. So all over the board, you're finding the same thing played in different ways. That's my least favorite. But I like it when I'm doing this thing. Those kind of things, right? So we got all of our different clusters of chords, and I'm changing things, but I'm changing like one thing, and I'll keep the notes the same. It's important. This goes back to what I just said about looking at the frets and not looking at your fingers, not memorizing your fingers, right? So these two are staying the same. I can even play them like this, right? And have like, right. So it's less about what these fingers are doing, which 2 fingers it is. It's more about what they are. So again, it's easiest to look at like the roots and build around that. Okay, enough of the boring stuff if this is too below your level. Now let's just increase the difficulty just a smidge, and we're going to take one of those notes and move it. Which note should we move it? Move it. The 7? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, 1. Let's move it to flat 7. Because somebody mentioned some chicken picking earlier. We'll go to that like faux chicken sound. Right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Now, anytime I come to that 7, I'm not going to play the 7. I'm going to play the flat 7. So let's have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Somebody's saying, any tips on developing speed? Yeah, speed is about clarity. So when I'm thinking about speed, I'm not thinking about just trying to play fast. I'm trying to be as clear as possible. Yeah, so some, Shredder, I see you down there saying that it's Mixolydian. It is. These are all facts. What I try to do is not think in modes and terms and words. I try to think in like, what am I doing to the major scale? Almost like if I see it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can move each one a fret, right? So here's 1. Those are the notes that surround it, right? The half steps to it. So when I see 1, I see 7, flat 7. I see minor 9. I see 2, all right there. So I see a lot of different notes. All based on where that root is. Same here. So when I see it, excuse me, a little pollen. When I see it, I have like root, and I automatically know that flat 7's behind it and 2's above it. That'd be like a kind of a western swing lick that you might hear a country guy play. That kind of thing. Right, you might get something like that. That's adding a lot of stuff. We're not going to add yet. We're just going to move. We're not going to add things. We're going to move. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Now I want to be able to do that and play that on any point of any finger starting on any version of the root. So like, right? So here it is. And now I'm moving down. I'm going to move down again. Sorry, I added the blues scale. So now when I've got that, again, I want to maybe move to a different position and outline the intervals again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. And I'm going to start seeing different little chord clusters popping up based on just notes from this group, this scale, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. Right? And you can start hearing little chord melodies coming out. There's another one. Right? So you can, yeah, Shredder's saying you can shape it up, right? And think of them as different shapes. Or Shredder, here's something I don't know if you've thought about, where it's like you're thinking about, are you truly free in being able to travel down the neck and stop at any point? Let's put a little gas on it. You see how I was playing the same thing in different positions? Right? Get in some of that kind of adding in a little bit of that that like sassiness, right? Like a little bit of that swampy Allman Brothers, Dwayne Southern goodness. Right? And if I'm looking at it from like maybe a Steve Morse kind of aspect, I'd probably add in a couple of chromatics. Very kind of Steve Morse kind of thing. Maybe something like that. I'm a little off topic, but here's a great question. Andy, how did you learn to think of the notes and intervals instead of patterns and licks? By doing exactly what I'm talking about, which is lay out a blueprint for yourself. So let's move to a key that's got I'm going to go to E. I'm going to go to E because I want that bass note so I can just hear it. We're going to do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Okay, in this, oh, holy crap, we've got a great big discount. I'm going to come back to that discount in just 2 seconds. In this, in the key of E, I'm going to tell myself I want to play the major scale, but every time I come to the 7th, I'm going to play it a half step down. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be a D. So other than that, I'm playing literally the E major scale. So if I play the E major scale just all over the place. Now when I play the E major scale with like the flat 7, so I want to take this E string and I'm gonna let that be my it's gonna be my guide here. I'm talking specifically to Scott right now. Scott's asked a great question. How do you learn to think of notes and intervals instead of patterns? I'm looking for the root everywhere. I'm gonna be looking for thirds. I'm gonna be looking for that flat 7. And so there's a couple of telltale things that happen. When I see the root, I automatically know where flat 7 is. This is a big one. Put a asterisk next to this. When I see the root, I automatically know where the flat 7 is. The flat 7 is a whole step behind it. I don't even have to think about it. Scoop over just a little bit. There we go. So when I see that, now I've just got to look for the third. So when I see the flat 7, I know that my third is going to be right here. There's like this shape that always happens for thirds. So look at how the flat 7 sits below it, and the root and the third. So you end up with this shape. And that's just moving things around with the major scale and just a flat 7. And that's, like a lot of people are saying, very mix. It's the Mixolydian thing, right? But our focus here is not to recognize that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flat 7 is Mixolydian. That's not the focus. The focus is to eliminate as much as possible any brick walls in different points in the fretboard. So you don't sound like this. Where I stopped, right? You want to be able to... You want to be able to play freely through all of it, right? Right? I don't know if you want to be able to do the sweep at the end. That's a bit self-indulgent. But if you do, it's there. You see how there's so many little nuggets of this thing that we just did. What was it? That nugget's right here, too. If I wanted to put that in a solo, you know... One, two, three, four. So it's like just seeing this. You can start actually using the same shape in 3 octaves to get you some of that old school 80s vibe, like a Steve Stevens thing, right? Right, like a... So my point is that you're able to freely navigate the fretboard, right, without being bound to boxes and cage system shapes and things. I'm not saying that you're not playing those. You are playing those, but your brain's not limited to that, thinking of it in that direction. You're able to just sit back and kind of enjoy the guitar. So the point for me, when I say I never practice, I think of practice as playtime. So if I said, hey, Andy, you've got to write a riff in the key of E, you got to use that flat 7 sound, I would think, okay, so now I just maybe give myself a couple of limited options. You know? Maybe start with this kind of groove. Right? And then I would have something to play over, allowing me to move around on those shapes that I want to play through, and also trying to deliver as many different feels as I can to that harmony. Okay, a lot of times I get asked about versatility. So to me, it's like playing as many different feels to that harmony as I can, right? Like, that may be one kind of feel in that harmony. Another one might be more rocking, you know. You know, another one might be more kind of a country kind of feel to that kind of groove, you know. You see, so I would sit down and I would try to just play through there, and it doesn't even have to be complicated. Like, what if I wanted simple country, right? You know, that's a different kind of vibe altogether, you know. And I'm not trying to use any outside notes. If you notice, I'm trying to stay within the realm of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flat 7 thing. The reason I'm trying to do it is where I'm not trying to just memorize a bunch of Mixolydian patterns. It's just that I can now navigate the same licks in different keys without having to reprogram my brain. So now we can move something else. Let's have, let's move the 3 and the 6 down. So I have 1, 2 flat, 3 flat, 6 flat, 7. Get a very minor kind of thing. So all of that just comes from just undoing the idea that you've got to memorize a million different scales. You're basically looking at everything from a major scale standpoint and just scooting one note to the left or to the right. Even if I'm thinking about the diminished thing, right? So we got 1, flat 9. Right? It's still thinking of it kind of in the same direction. Right. Yeah, Lucas is saying he's still trying to learn the intervals, right? So Harlan's pointing out that, and modes can make things confusing because it's where you start on another note that will create a mode, right? I don't think of modes like that. I think of modes as just simply nudging one interval one way or the other. For example, like Lydian, right? In the key of C. Or let's just stay in E. Key of E. Let's just move the 4th up. So I'm not going to play the 4th anymore. I'm going to play that up a half step. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Right, that thing. Like the Back to the Future sound is Lydian. Also, Satriani is very Lydian. Or whatever that song is. I can't remember which one it is. So I'm only thinking about a major scale with a sharp 4 now. Now, what can be said is, this can be said. This is playing a B major scale. But when I play it and end on B, it sounds like B major. But when I play it and start on E, it does not sound like B major. It sounds like Lydian. Now, I don't care if you call it fire hydrant scale. Don't get caught up in the semantics or the grammar of the words, right? Don't get caught up in what somebody calls it. Search in Google or YouTube for this kind of content. You can easily get sidetracked in like the definitions and all that stuff. That's what matters is how you hear it. Can you hear it? Right? There's so many great players that have no idea what they're doing, and it's because they can hear it, right? You gotta be able to hear that this is this sound. This note makes it sound a certain way. Identify that. To me, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4. Right. I don't really think of, this is a great comment. Scott says, you can get it now in Holsworth and the rules don't make any sense anymore. I mean, you can always chase the thread, right? Like there's always some way to look at something. And most of the time there's multiple ways to look at something, right? So what I try to do is just let you know, all I'm trying to do today is just let you know that everything comes from the major scale. It's all right there. Move the 3rd down. You get that melodic minor thing. There's the flat 6. That's a little more like rock, you know. Right. Versus like the flat 6 with a major sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that sounds nice arpeggiated. You hear that in a lot of film scores, right? Modern cats like Nick Johnston use that a lot. You know, he uses so many film scores use that kind of thing. But you see, I have no idea what scale that would be called because it's been years since I've been in college and I don't think like that anymore. And when I was in college, I was learning definitions and terms just to pass a class or a paper or something. In reality, the whole time I was just putting numbers on it, putting numerics on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, right, 7, 1. Right? Yeah. Somebody's talking about the Junktown riff. Parts of Junktown have a really cool intervallic thing. You know, Junktown's built from that same kind of thing. That's just following the changes. I'll play that riff one more time. So if you do have a Vidami and you want to learn that riff, it goes like this. Right? Right. So there you go. Okay. Here's something good to know. If you're interested in learning with the Vidami, these are the folks that bring us this show every week. It's up to them. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Click the bell for notifications because that will allow you to keep up with what's happening on the channel, right? When we go live, you'll get a little update. So click the bell, subscribe if you haven't. Vidami has a code right now for Father's Day. This one hits home. I will not have my father in a couple of days for Father's Day, so that sucks. But for Father's Day, they are doing a code which is awesome to save you $25 papers. Did I read that right? Yeah. Heck yeah. Here's the code. It's up in the chat. Father's Day sale, $25 off the Vidami pedals. Dads and Grads, 25. Dads and Grads, 25. Hit that. You want that. You want to go to there. You want to save $25 on that item, you know? Yeah. Incredible. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. And then the Woodshed Live coupon code, Woodshed Live 10. Yeah. It's Father's Day special, $25 off. Incredible, man. Yeah, wrong code. It's Dads and Grads. Yeah. Michael is saying, have I jammed with Aaron? You know, we've kind of sat in a room and just traded some licks at like Sir and stuff back in the day, but like we've never really jammed on stage together. You know, buddy of mine, but we've never really been in the same tour or anything like that at the same time. So, you know, thank you for the kind words, Robert. All right. So let's open up the floor here in the chat. I want you guys to be able to kind of ask me what it is that you've got going through your mind regarding these intervals. Now, while you guys are coming up with some questions, I'll let you know tomorrow I'm going into the studio. We're going to cut the cover of Rooster. Let's put that delay on. Right. Let's turn that on. Come to me, delay. Right. Yeah. We're going to cut this tomorrow. And I'm excited about it. It's going to be really cool. We're cutting that and Everlong tomorrow. I can't play Everlong because it's in drop D, and then I'll throw this thing out of whack. Okay, great questions here. Let's see. Can you focus on OPS ion shifts of the interval? I don't know what that means. I don't know what OPS ion shifts. That's probably above my pay grade. Let's see what else we got in here. How do you reprogram your brain when you're flattening or change a note in a scale? What happens in your mind? Basically, you're just trying to undo the idea of patternistic playing. Like if you're always playing here and someone says to play in the key of E, you immediately put your first finger and recreate this exact shape up here. Right? That's patternistic playing versus playing in the key of A and someone saying, okay, let's play in the key of E now. And I'd be like, I realize that there's an E right there that I can grab. If somebody's like, oh no, Andy, you're an idiot. It's E major. I'd be like, oh, sorry. If somebody said, no, Andy, you're still an idiot, it's E minor. You see, so I'm still basing it around this E. I'm not seeing that E as something that's tied to a finger, or I'm trying not to. I'm trying to see that E as something that lives right there at that one fret. And I know I've got 1, 2 going like this. And I've also got it going like this. So I can play 1, 2, 3. Or I can play 1, 2, 3. It's about freedom on the instrument. Sorry, Andy, you're an idiot. It's E with sharp 4, right? Oh, Shredder's saying position shifts. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what ops ions are. So position shifts on the interval are kind of it's an easy thing to understand, and it's a hard thing to break the habit of. This ties into the previous question. Okay, so we're trying to break the habit of shape playing and like box playing. We also want to talk about position shifts. So why not try to play something that travels? Let's take, I don't know, E major, just E major. And you're trying to undo the idea that one thing is more difficult than the other, right? Like E major should not be any more difficult than E with sharp 4, right? It's just a matter of like knowing what the right answer is. So let's just play E major. And now I'm just gonna like program my ear. Just playing some stuff in E major. So now when I think about position shift, I'm going to try to go from where I'm at, and I'm going to try to play really pretty, and I'm just going to play on one string, right? Now I went there because I didn't want to play an open string. Do it again. Let's go to that sharp 4 thing. So as you can see, I'm trying to play as much on one string as I can. This helps me with position shifts, right? Like if I've got like I went from here, right? Kind of quick, right? That thing went by in a hurry. I don't even know what I played. Like I'm trying to look at where I'm going, and whichever finger I end on, I got these fingers to continue playing the guitar with. I don't have any more fingers on this side, so I need to use these. Move with the third finger. Middle finger. All of that was major scale. Right. So you see, does that make sense? Like how I'm like looking at like where I'm going to land, looking at all the roots, and how I can connect that with thirds. That's the same thing as this. It's like being aware that there's multiple ways to play the same thing and being happy for it. Not where you're like mad that you got to learn something new. Just know that you have this shape for 1, 3, 5. That's also this one. It's also this one. So if I wanted some kind of like really cool cross-picking thing. Right? I would use that one more for like an arpeggiated thing. If I was going to do a Rick Graham style thing. Those kind of licks. Sorry. So check out what's going on in the chat here. Looking for something, let's see here. So when playing chords in a key, all of the intervals change with each chord rather than following the original scale. No, like actually, you know, think of it the other way, where like all of your intervals, they'll tell you what to play. So if I'm playing an E major, we've got a C sharp note. It's gonna be C sharp minor, right? We've got a E flat note. That could be the third of the 5 chord, right? That could also be, like E flat minor, that kind of thing. I'd see it around that. So I'm just going to play E major scale and play different chords from E major scale, like that are in this, right? So we got an A. We got a C sharp. Let's play a C sharp minor. All the notes are the E major scale. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. All those notes are still the E major scale. I'm playing E major scale on top of all those notes. See what happened? Like I used every note in the scale as a bass note to play. So where does that change? You're asking yourself, well, Andy, why can I not play the same things over the Chicken, right? By Jocko? Because you have chords that come at you in the Chicken that aren't in B flat, right? That one's in there, but this one's not. That's a 2 major, right? I'm sloppy today. There we go. But the reason you can't just sit and play B flat over the Chicken the whole time is because you have, and you got to acknowledge that, and you got to acknowledge this. Right. So that's what the song will dictate, and the chord changes in the song will dictate what you can play. I really love playing with the idea of major and minor in the same song, right? Like a song like Reach starts in minor, and then it goes to major, and it moves back and forth. It's a really cool kind of juxtaposition of 2 different harmonies, right? It happens in Hardest Goodbye too. And it has it happens on that, right? Then it goes back to the top, right? That E flat, we're in B flat right there, right? E flat, B flat, still in B flat, right? And this is where it changed, right? We have that sound. Right. So there's a lot of things in that. Yeah. Okay, cool. Hey, Andy, do you think of 7 chords as slash chords? Yeah, you totally can. I don't. I personally don't. Like when I see G sharp minor over E, I'm just like, whoa, what? Say what? I think it was just E7. That's just me though. But yeah, and Harlan's right. It's more of an inversion thing. So yeah. I see some talk about the pinch harmonics. I get a lot of mileage out of the pinch harmonic. I love the way those sound. Right. Yeah, here's Harlan saying you wouldn't notate it that way unless for some reason you wanted to specify that you are holding down a minor tonality, right? So you would have like G sharp minor. It's like E major 7. Right. He's right. Unless you wanted it known that it was still that kind of, really dense sounding, which is nice. Trying to work on more chordal playing suggestions. How to open that up. Yeah, Troy, take the bottom note on any one string. This will be the last question we get into right here. Take the bottom note in the key of E, right? Yeah, let's see. And now I'm going to work that backwards, thinking I'm just going to think about what's in my first finger and I'm going to harmonize around it. So first finger, let's go. So we got E, D, A major, A minor, E. And then I could go up with it. E, D, A major, A minor, E. It's really kind of just looking at every string. That's how I'm doing it, right? I'm just kind of thinking about what's on that bottom, what's holding it down and how I can twist the things around the top, make them expand farther instead of just playing things that are close together. Like that doesn't sound really as nice. Like a lot of times it's leaving stuff out, leaving out notes that makes something sound cool, right? Sounded nice. Leaving out things makes something sound really rich. That's 1-5-4. I mean, you think of it maybe like an 11, right? Sus4. Instead of playing that root in the middle. You don't need it. The shaved chin says that Skankbanger play. Yep. Yeah, we did. Look at that. One of the favorite ones that you could use to understand some chord momentum is a Skankbanger staple. And it's the song What It Takes by Aerosmith, right? So you think about that melody line. So there's another diamond ring. This is all straightforward, right? It's all in the key of G. Now E minor. Up to the 5, right? Key of D. And then G. Now to the 4 chord. And now when you move that back a whole step, we're into the chorus, which is now in a different key. So he uses that C to B flat, their relationship being a whole step away, as a way to play from G and get into F for the chorus. So I'm gonna play it up to speed, right? I've never tried to play the melody and the chords at the same time. I can't do that one at the same time. This is a really cool movement here. And now watch the bass note. It's going to, instead of going down a whole step, which it should, to B flat, it's going to go down a half step. That's going to outline G7. And now check this out. So that's like a flat 6 in the key of F, right? So F, that's like 4, flat 6, F, very rock and roll. What will be the melody? So you can see how the song works. It's kind of cool that like it's really cleverly written, the way it's got all of that movement. And yeah, it's a bunch of wrong notes, but like I've never tried to play all those melody lines at the same time as the chorus. I should work that up. That would actually be a cool one. Again, try to play what the singer's singing just on one string. So that'd be like a way that they sneak in that little 6. And this is a really cool descent. So that's got the, like, now you're kind of looking at it from the key of C. You go to the 5 chord of that. Now move it all back a half step. Right. We're in F. Now F minor. Now we're in A flat. Pull that up an entire third. That's C. And what is that? That's the chord before that. Right? Yeah. So that's kind of cool, right? It's like the way you can just take a popular tune and put it on the guitar with all the parts moving around. And then you start seeing how everything unlocks itself. Like, I don't think of this. I'm not going, oh, I better play a G add 9 there. Even though that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just thinking of it as like what is the, like, is it? That's how I think about the singer singing that. Right. Again, yeah, somebody's talking about Paul Gilbert and Andy Timmons. Like, that's why these guys are freaking so good. They studying the entirety of the song, not just the guitar solo. Like, you could work on what it takes for days, weeks at a time to come up with a killer version and study how the chords work together. And you've yet to play the guitar solo. Like, you can get on YouTube and find Uncle Ben teaching you how to play something note for note. But at that point, you're just becoming a parrot and you're only regurgitating something from a game of visualization. You're not freely able to improvise through it. That's what you want to be able to do. And don't get what I said twisted. Ben can improvise. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying that, like, you know, having something spoon-fed to you in a how you play the solo to 1 note for note, like, that's going to help you maybe a little bit. It's going to be more fun than anything, but it's not going to really help expand your mind and how chords and melodies work together. But you can take the song 1 and look at all the chords and see how it works together, and that's going to be very educational, especially when you put the melody line in it that the singer's singing. Another one that I was playing along to the other day that was really fun was Sex and Candy, if anybody remembers that one, Marcy Playground. It's a really interesting chord progression. Hanging out. Watch the melody line. Hanging out downtown by yourself and I've had too much. That melody line. It's a B major. It's the 3rd. Hanging out. And then G major. Downtown by your F sharp. And there she was. Back to major. Right? G. Disco Superfly, and there she was. Now we're going to go to B minor. Mama, this surely is a dream. Right? Now we're in D major. Yeah. Mama, this surely is a dream. Now up to B major. Hanging out, down, 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 down. Right, so that's cool because it's not something that you can just ride the B minor pentatonic. You can't play B minor pentatonic over B major. Now you got to play G. It makes you really work for it, right? You can't just go on autopilot with the cage system And a lot of times it's not about playing a billion versions of the same thing. It's like just being aware that a chord change is happening. So just the chord changes of B major, G, F sharp, like that's not easy to navigate on guitar because you can't just float a pattern through it. You have to adjust. You have to look at what's happening. What's the function of G? So I'm thinking like B major, hanging out, and then like a B minor kind of thing. Because that outlines that G shape. Now B harmonic minor. But again, I'm not thinking those scales so much as I'm going major 7. Because there's F sharp. Now B major. And you hear the song, you hear the melody when you play the thirds. That's a killer song. Like, and most guitar players wouldn't study that because it doesn't have some like white hot meltdown solo. But I also know that a lot of guys, I would feel like a jerk if I went to an open mic night and called that song and expected everybody in the room to be able to play it because it's deceptive. Like, that would be a really jerk move if you wanted to just go in. It'd be like, if you went to an open mic and called like, a jazz standard. Like, you're kind of being a chode at that point, unless you're going to a jazz night, right? But like that tune takes a higher level of awareness. Whereas I could go into a room and call Crossroads, right? And just say, play an A pentatonic, and then anybody could play along. That's the right thing to do when you go into a jam environment, right? Another song that would be shifting its melodic context would be what is that? Beatles. That one's moving a lot too. You can't just go A minor pentatonic. Now you can during the solo, but to play over the whole song, you have to realize it's jumping around, playing A major, a lot of different things. So there's a lot of things that go into being a well-rounded player. It's not just about being, having a ton of horsepower in the chops area. If you've only got chops and you can't execute great melodies and play really tasty nuggets on tunes, it's like you're kind of all dressed up with nowhere to go. There's so many great guys with all the chops in the world, but like I can't remember their playing other than that they're really good. Like I want to remember songs and melodies, and that's just at a high level of importance to me as a listener. Like I think it's like why I can remember Marcy Playground and Elton John songs, but I can't remember like some really white hot molten guitar solo that I saw on Instagram this morning that I know is great. Like the playing's great, but like I can't remember. I couldn't remember it. Right. Yeah. So everybody's ready. Let's try the Black Page. Yeah. Pooh Ninja's right. Yeah. Now on to, Zappa. So that's the kind of thing where it keeps spiraling, and it's how far into the unknown do you like to travel? And for as much as I've studied jazz and improvisational music, I really like strong major melodies and chord hooks and things like that. Like that's why I love so much country music, Americana. Like I love Jason Isbell. I love, this guy. There's a new guy I heard. The name of the song is Van Gogh. If I could paint a Van Gogh. Jeff Beck's a great example too. Like you can travel as far into the unknown as you want to, but at the end of the day, I want to feel something. Make me feel something. Like that's what I get out of my favorite players. Eddie Van Halen he doesn't have to take a solo all night long, and that rhythm playing so pocketed and so sassy that I love it. The early Satriani records, we love those because the melodies are so strong. Like it's all about those really killer melodies. And not to say that, progressive music isn't amazing. It sure is. I love a lot of progressive music and a lot of crazy heavy stuff too. But at the end of the day, I need a hook. And if you look at the craziest prog bands in the world, they give you hooks, man. Like even in Dream Theater, it's like, this is a big old hook. Like that is a fat hook. Like I remember those hooks because they are so freaking hooky, right? It's like I love, and like I said, even in the Satch stuff, I don't even have to go back and try to remember. It's so memorable. It's so memorable, right? That's you don't even have to. You don't have to go, oh man, how did that go? It's not just about being like, again, you can have the John Petrucci chops and he would write killer melodies that went, of course there were chopped things, but like this is a hook. What's the other one up? Like I can't remember it note for note, but I remember the general gist of it, and I haven't played that song forever. I think the last time I even tried any of those riffs was over a year ago when I did a John Petrucci video, right? So that's the point, right? Andy Pierce is saying it's repetition is the key for the ear. Maybe so, but there's also that idea of like, there's got to be something that's inexplainably hooky about it. I can hear something a million times and not remember how it goes. I can hear something once and remember how it goes. There's something that's super inexplainably hooky about it that you're just like the first time I heard Cliffs of Dover, I could sing back the melody. It was like such an earworm, right? And it didn't take 400 times to listen to it to know that it was hooky, right? Yeah. Ambient Shredder here. Have you ever played with Guthrie Govan? Any thoughts on his playing? I have some of the best, worst memories of being with Guthrie Govan. Best, worst memories. I was a young puppet sir. I was getting just a young, just green, no experience, no mileage. And here was Guthrie, arguably the greatest guitar player on earth when you're talking about facility and width of knowledge. I don't think too many people would argue that point. I was opening for him on clinics and just getting my teeth kicked in every single night. And one of the greatest lessons that I ever had was him not taking it easy on me. Like he played and cut me to pieces. And it was like, yeah, this is what, okay. Of course there's a huge age difference. And by that, it's not just the difference in Guthrie's age to me, to him now. It's the age of like when you're in your 20s and he was in his 30s. Like it was like, yeah, okay, I'm just getting, my face punched in. And it was great because I learned those valuable lessons, and it wasn't just about his insane amount of horsepower he had. It was the fact that everything he played sounded so good. The bends were so sassy. The tone was searing. I remember him having a really top end searing kind of tone, and everything had like a musicality to it that a lot of guys are missing. And that's the one thing I think is so important about Guthrie is he is so incredibly musical, beyond the chops. It's about the musicality. Yep. That is the thing, right? So yeah, sorry to take you on a bit of a nostalgia trip there for a second, but it was some of the best times in my life getting absolutely annihilated on stage with that guy. Yeah, Harlan's saying Waves, the hook. The first time we heard Waves, we all loved it, you know. But none of us could just pick up the guitar and play it, right? Riff hooks, yes. Harlan is right. I've never been like the biggest Metallica, like learn everything in and out like Ben has. Ben loves that stuff, you know. Yeah, some great stuff there. Tom saying, one of his teachers always said, play it like you own it, you know. Yeah. Yeah, Guthrie's just, everything that Guthrie does is even especially on an improvisational level. There's one thing to compose things and cook things up and play them the same way every night. There's another thing to be like, all right, here's the solo section, and every solo is like the best thing you've ever heard. You know who else I would put in that echelon would be Derek Trucks. Like, he improvises and it just sounds like the song. It just sounds like that's how it goes. So that's big for me. PJ says, what do I think of the Timmons Halo pedal? Well, a couple of things. I've watched every video on it because I love AT. He texted me and was like, you gotta try this. What's your address? And I was like, oh man, it just made my heart so warm. For those of you that know me, you know that he's been a mentor, and I'm so grateful for Andy sharing his knowledge with me. And truthfully, a lot of what I'm conveying to you guys is things that Andy shared with me and things I learned from him. So Andy, hit me up. Mine should be here tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Those that are in my Patreon, we'll test it out tomorrow night at our masterclass. Just a shameless plug, patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. We do a live weekly masterclass, and we get into gear and technique and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, Halo pedal's coming. I think my prediction is, and this is not based on anything that I've done, it's based on Andy's track record. My prediction is going to be the easiest way to get his coveted delay sound. That's the words. The easiest way to get it. I think Andy's magic happens with stuff that's barely held together. I've seen Andy play with a couple of memory mans, and they were broken all the time. We had done a gig in Raleigh. He got there, and one of them was messed up, and then he got it working. And then we did another gig. I think it was the first Elements of Sound. He was still using the memory mans. And they would barely work, but he would get them working, and he would dial them into that sweet spot. And it was excruciating, for him to wrangle that stuff. But when he got it dialed in, it was so good. Then he went to the timeline. And as you guys are very aware, most of the professional working industry uses the timeline. It's just it really is the industry standard. And I can dial in that same kind of sound as I do, which I like. And that's even in the aux right now. The only difference, I think Andy's got it to where they collapse on both sides, but this one's doing it in stereo. You hear how they kind of detune and get grittier as it goes, as they go farther. I've just got it panned. Right, so I've got the 500 on one side and like the 375 on the other. But it's the same idea, right? Quarter note, dotted eighth, right? Dotted eighth and quarter note. So I think you can get Andy's sound with a lot of different gear, and I think, ideally it would be like two perfectly dialed in echo plexes. But could you ever trust that gear? No, never. Never would I ever take two echo plexes on the road. In a million years. I wouldn't take them to the club down the street. They would break as soon as you got them out of the car. So it's like, I think, in my opinion, that Halo is going to do something that, not that it hadn't been done, because Andy's made these incredible records with his sound, but I think they've captured a way to put it in an easy to get, easily dialed in, simplistic format. And obviously, Keeley, you could wallpaper a house with that guy's resume. Keeley has made some of the greatest contributions to the pedal game and guitar industry ever. So I don't even like the term high hopes or high expectations. I just know it's going to be great. Like, you just know it is. And what makes it great is the fact that it's not going to fall apart. So I will report back all of that tomorrow when I get it, but that's my expectations. You know, can you get there with old traditional gear? Yeah, you can, but it's going to be a lot harder, and it won't happen twice, right? Like, it's like so finicky, those old Echoplexes and Memory Man. So, like, you know, that's one of the things I never did was get into the Memory Man thing. I tried to steer clear of that because I just knew it was a rabbit hole, right? You'd have to have 10 of them. you know, foot switches and stuff falling apart or whatever. No hating on that, but they sound great, but they're not the most reliable. If they were, everybody would use them, right? So I'm excited about the Halo pedal. RJ Ronquillo in the house. Should I get the Sir Red Beach? Maybe RJ, you get the Andy Wood model. That's what I think. No hating, Reb. I love you, Reb. I do, but I mean, it's telly. With 24 frets, dude. This is, come on, RJ. You're in the South. You're in Nashville. You know what we do. Nah, I love Reb. Reb's one of my favorite players. Sure, I'd say get it. I'd say get both. Why not have both? And anytime, RJ, you want to come on the show, let's just make it happen. It looks like everybody wants the collab and wants the hang. Let's shoot some videos. Let's make some stuff for the people. I'm down. Ambient Shredder got one more question for her. He says, when you're practicing being more musical in your improvisation, what are the things that you try to do for that? Has it changed now when it first started? Man, it's really, rewind this video to the point where I'm talking about playing on one string. That's the answer. Like, just trying to take melodies and songs that I love and, you know, trying to recall them from memory and play them, right? You know. We all know what that is. Right? It's like, I never really thought I'd be playing an instrumental, faux instrumental version of Lights by Journey today. But the song is so freaking good, and the melodies are so memorable, and the chord changes are so strong, you can call it back by ear. Like, that is how I practice. I take my favorite songs, and you just got to get in there with the stuff you love and poke around at it, right? All the exercises in the world don't make you more musical. Like, at the risk of ruining the internet. Exercises ain't going to do it, man. You got to play songs. You got to play tunes. Or you're just going to be all dressed up with nowhere to go. Just this bag full of sick chops. And the moment you sit in with RJ Ronquillo and he calls the blues, he's going to smoke you. Or like, Tom Bukovac or Sean Tubbs or whoever. Andy Timmons, Mark Letary, Greg Koch, name them. These dudes play tunes. Paul Gilbert is just a plethora of songs, right? You can't call a song that he doesn't know. And that's what it's all about, man. It ain't about the licks and the chops. Sure, you've got them. But like, Guthrie's great because he's musical. So that's my message, man. That is what I'm after. It's what I'm about. So with that said, I hope everyone had a great time today. Hey, Dave Brandon's in the house. Hey, Dave, how you doing? I'm going to do some Alice in Chains, but I'm just going to be all instrumental. So, all right. So that's today's message. Taking the tunes that you love, finding the intervals, taking just the things you already play, and undo the idea that they have to be the same shape every time. Like, undo that thing. Look at what makes the structure of it up. It's all based around the major scale, and you can make things simpler on yourself without having to have, a notebook's worth of definitions on modes. It's really, really true. So I hope everyone had a great time. The streams will be up ambient. Yes, they will be on my channel in the live streams playlist. Little housekeeping here. The Woodshed Guitar Experience. It's a 3-night, 4-day extravaganza. Maybe RJ will come out. RJ, come to it. 3 nights, 4-day extravaganza, an hour outside of Nashville. We've got an amazing crew of players coming. Nick Johnston's going to be there. Mark Letary, Greg Koch, Tom Quell's coming. Martin Miller's coming. All these guys are coming in, and it's going to be, just an amazing event. Brent Mason's going to be there, dude. Like, the master of the Telecaster. Telemaster Brent Mason is going to be there. So if you want to sign up, the spots are super limited. We've got I don't want to say, but we don't have a full roster available as far as seating. So make sure you get in there. There's only 125 slots, and I know we're around half, maybe even more sold out. I'm not sure on the numbers, but if you want in there, you need to sign up because it's gonna sell out. And then you're going to be like, man, I should have gone. There's a lot of manufacturers that come and bring gear. We do giveaways, lessons, concerts every night, 3 concerts, one each night. The best players on the planet. WoodshedGuitarExperience.com. If you want to support the channel and you want to keep things going, see more content, get more albums, get more tunes, all that kind of stuff. If you want access to 300 lesson videos, Axe Effects patches, and all that kind of stuff, that's on patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic. Even at $5 a month, you get access to over 300 videos. So there's a lot of content. I keep most of the good, juicy stuff over there. So jump over there to the Patreon. Check it out. Appreciate you guys for hanging with us. And we will talk to you next week. Thanks to Vidami. You want to learn, get this. Use the code right now for $25 off. Coupon code DADS and GRADS25. You can loop, you can slow down and speed back up. You can go backwards and forwards. It's basically a time machine for your feet so you can learn stuff on the internet way easier. It's not hard. You Bluetooth it up and it's ready to roll. Give it access and it's ready to roll. Super great piece of gear here. Vidami Blue, they make one with a cable if you don't want to charge up, but I like this because you can put it on your iPad. Amazing. And these are the folks that bring you this show every week. So go to their site, use that code, save $25, tell them A Wood sent you, and we will see you guys in the near future.